A number of months ago, I was talking with Jim about the national show here, and I told him, you know, what we did at the Wenatchee National Show was some ladies came up to us, Terry and I, and they asked us if we would mind sitting there and show them how to judge.
She did.
How to judge seedlings. Because they don't have the opportunity to go through and judge like maybe Mark, Dan, Terry and I, because where we are, every week we have a show, but we also have 10,000 seedlings on the bench, it seems like. So there are clubs out there, for example, you can take, let's say Colorado. They may not have a seedling bench where they have plenty of entries. So what happens with these people that want to be judges that are required to do the seedling bench judging? Get the example. So what Terry and I did, and we faked it the whole time, by the way, because we had never tried this, is to use blooms that were in the show, and to use them, use a triple, fully double, and open center. And that's why I have those in here. I did not ask for best in show. I was hoping just something that I could really play with, but I'm not. Okay, so we went through and we basically, step by step, with the ladies and showed them how it's done. Even though it wasn't a seedling bench, we used it as a seedling bench.
It was a gentleman there too.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm saying that it wasn't, okay? So, my story, and I'm going to make it my way. Thank you. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to use these two blooms up here to get an idea on how to do seedling bench. Now, first of all, how many people have done this? I want the proper name. You got to be proper. The American Dahlia Society Seedling Evaluation Scorecard. How many people have used it? Okay.
Just
now,
a couple times. Couple.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. What is the primary purpose of this sheet, these two sheets?
Perfection. Scoring it so that it can get over 85 and get in the book. Scoring against perfection.
Identify equality.
Okay. You're right and you're right and you're right. But I'm even more right.
Okay.
Because what it is we as judges are taking that brand new seedling and we are going to classify it. Now when we get that seedling, we have the originator here says, well, I want this to be a formal decorative red BB. Yes, you do. And the thing is sort of maybe pink, and it's an ID, and it's only a miniature, but he wants it in one category because he can get more ribbons and more, if he classifies it as something that is difficult or that's not out there. And if you've ever been in a trial garden, you'll see this all the time. So, what we do with this here is we as judges are going to do the classification of that particular bloom. The very first thing that we do when we fill this sheet out, and if you notice, we gave you two. And like somebody says, oh, I didn't know there was two. There's an open center, and there's a fully double. Both are identical, and we'll cover that point briefly. First thing you do with this scoring sheet, and follow along with me on these here, is very first thing is you put the date. Why? Because this goes to our classification chair, and if we have this listed as December the 1st, 2025, chances are it's not going to be a good, you know. So we put the date down. We want to know when it is. Other things that we get, other scorecards that we get, we can see when, if they're spread over a time, to get how they're going to be over a period of time. Okay. You put the time, because what is time important for? Why do they need to know what time I'm in the dark garden or at the show doing the job? Why?
Is it the middle of the day and it's hot?
Speak up, please, I'm deaf.
Is it in the middle of the day and is it hot, or is it in the morning when there's still dew coming out? Or?
Fantastic, you did great.
Yeah.
It's, when should we do our judging? Early in the morning, later in the evening, okay? Because the sun's not so hot, but if you wait so much in the evening, flowers have a tendency to go to sleep. So be careful of that. So the next thing that it says here is the location. Well, it does make a difference because when we go through and do these judging on the seedling bench or in the trial garden, what we are doing is making sure that they grow the same way, or they should grow the same way, whether it's in New York City, whether it's in Colorado, where's Albuquerque, or in in Canada, or in the Pacific Northwest. So we need to know that. So this is good information to have. Then it goes through the number of plants, okay? We want to make sure that we have that on the seedling bench, right? Seedling benches.
I'm shaking my head for this.
Yeah, no, I'm going to pick on you then. So, you don't, what I'm reading here is on the seedling bench, all you have is one entry with 3 blooms. That's on the seedling bench. Trial garden, you have 3 plants. So, this is used for both places. So, okay, next thing gets to the important thing, and we're going to do the fully double first. What you're looking at here is, it says classification. This is where you're going to make an official judgment of what that bloom actually is. Now, it doesn't mean that that's what it's going to end up as being. What it's going to do is give your opinion of what that is, the classification of that. It could be a BB, formal deck, red, or it could be somebody else could say it's a B, but we, our personal opinion, after we read definitions and all that good stuff, we're going to decide what it is. And we'll mark down what the classification we call it. Let's do that real quick. On this beauty right here, what color would you call it?
Red. Purple. Dark red.
What's the name
It doesn't say the color, so I can't fake it out. So, but it is a dark red, more than likely. It could be a purple. Okay, what size is it? This is something that's very important to me. Okay? Today at this show, I saw a gentleman, not berating him or nothing like that, but I saw a gentleman with calipers. Okay? Calipers, and they were measuring the bloom. Do we do this to a show bloom? No. In a show? No. But the excuse I gave may have been they were measuring for largest in show. That's okay, but don't you dare take it to that BB. Okay? Not good, not good.
Was he measuring largest in show? Was he measuring largest in show?
For the biggest bloom in the show?
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
You can measure at the seedling bench, you have to. You can measure at the trial garden, you have to. You measure the depth, you measure the stem length, but you don't measure at a regular household type dahlia shelf. Okay? So now once we go through, we get the measurement, we classify what size it is and all that good stuff. Then we can put down here, it's a B. Would you call it a B? Maybe a BB? I think closer to a B. It's an ID, informal decorative. And would you call it a dark red without a chip? So now we've classified it. And that's what this card is basically all about. But now, wait a minute. You have classified this dahlia, according to this sheet, as a B, ID, dark red.
Dark red.
Okay? Prove it. You have to prove it now. How do you prove it?
Measure.
Fill out the rest of the damn sheet. Because it tells you there, well, have a seat there, sir.
I'm not good with this.
You're not, don't mess with my flowers.
You don't want to.
You took my flowers away. I don't need them. That's okay. So the very first thing that we get into, it says form. We're going to prove what we said it was. What did I say it was?
You said informal deck.
And by the way, I am hard of hearing. Please speak up.
I do.
ID.
Me?
Said ID.
ID. Okay. Well, we called it a, what did we call it up here? Damn, we called it an ID. So we're correct there. But look at the form now. We say, let's give it a score. It's going to be somewhere between 0 and 30 points. Because form always has the largest number, the most important when we're judging. Is that correct?
You're right. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we look at the depth, and that's where we got the size actually. So that's measured with a. And let me show you something about measuring. Let me get something out of here. Now every year, somebody is really thinking of our judges, and they will go out and help you with the requirements of having a tape measure for measuring the depth, the diameter, stem length on our blooms. Am I correct? And they give you this wonderful, wonderful tape measure. And you take this tape measure and you go on to measure this flower, and I'm not going to touch it, so don't tell Jim. But we come up here and we hold one hand here and like this, and we can get the measurement of the bloom and the depth, right?
Yeah.
We can also get it to, you notice this stays out. It doesn't flop over like the cloth ones. I recommend, for whatever it's worth, get you a metal one that will stick out. So if you're doing a AA, okay, easier to measure. That's what I recommend. I still like that. Okay. So the form, we go through and we give it a certain number. Now, if you want to get some help in giving the number, lo and behold, somebody has gone through, and on the back of the sheet, it tells you what you're looking for. And it'll tell you how either good, bad, or indifferent. It will help you out set your colors. Okay? Form. Desirable. Round, good proportion, adequate height, full, and tight. That's for form. And we deduct points for if it is weak and the florets are falling down, take points off. Okay? So, then we go into the next thing on is color. Two important things about color. Color is that color really, I want to say bright, but not. It really stands out. It's vibrant. That's a good one, right? Is that color vibrant?
No.
Who said no?
I did.
Well, if you like dark colors, it is.
What is it?
It is dull, it is gray. Tell them, Rich. What are my standard comments about Holly Hill Black Beauty? It is dull, it is gray. It looks, you get it, well, it depends on what kind of light.
Well, the outdoors.
Are we doing a fair assessment right now on the color of this?
No, there's no light
Why?
right there, it's too dark.
Why are we not doing a full,
Don't have natural
The
light.
outside.
Natural light.
The outside.
Yep,
what'd you say?
fluorescent lights. Yep.
The light.
Not good lighting.
We want good sunlight.
Yes.
A lot of places, when they do the judging of seedlings, seedling bench, or even in the trial garden, we want preferably a cloudy day. Is that correct? Real sunny, it's sort of, okay. But it's true, you know, you need that, okay. So then you do the color, and on the back it has your little cheat sheet. And it says clear, bright, pure, sparkling. What does that remind you of? A form. Any idea? Would you say Bloomquist Jean is sparkling? It has that little iridescent.
Little iridescence, yeah.
And then it's lustrous, okay? So we can use those to help us do the point, okay? Now we add up our points there, and if you're not good enough at this, it'll give you some hints on how to do it. So, for example, 44 to 50, if that's the score you got of those two, the form and color, then it should score. And it goes on the rest of the points, okay? Then we go through, and we should know at this time whether that bloom is going to score. We should know, because we're going to have to work to make it not score by the rest of the sheet, okay? We go down to the next, and it says substance. Okay, substance. So let's view the cheat sheet, and it tells you what to do here, how to do it. Substance, springiness and toughness of the flower parts. Firm, crisp, thick, stiff. Uniform back and face. So use this, you know. And you go on down to the rest of them. You have the foliage. Looking at the foliage, you know. Tell me, if that had a bug bite, would you get rid of it? Would you really score it down for a bug bite?
On a leaf or a petal? A bug bite on a leaf?
On a petal?
Oh,
No.
Or a floret? Or on, would you disqualify it? No.
Not disqualified, no.
it wouldn't go to head table, but, yeah.
No. Yes?
So in the trial garden, definitely not. In the seedling bench, it's a little bit of a fault. A little bit.
And the reason Rich says this is because when you put something in on the seedling bench, you are selecting 3 blooms from your own garden that are the best blooms that you could find for that entry. Am I correct, Rich?
Yes.
So you should not pick the ones that happens to have powdery mildew on it, not the ones that have been attacked by earwigs, or that your wife went in and accidentally hit it and bruised it, or husband.
I must have that.
cleared myself on that. So then we go down here, and I think this is the hardest part to do, because we have already gone through and we have basically justified what we have classified this bloom as. It's the size, we measured the depth, and the depth comes out to be what a B is. Then we go through and we measured the diameter, we measured the depth. It's definitely a B. Then we go through and the color, we got the color, it's a dark red. Okay, now let's go, because we normally only judge at a show the bloom. It's not that we don't care about the stem and the foliage. It's the most important thing is we have these fantastic events called dahlia shows, flower shows, not a foliage show or a stem show. So let's work on just the bloom. The rest of that stuff is going to be a tiebreaker, okay? So we go down here and on substance. An average bloom should be scoring about 8.5. So if you go down to the foliage, 10 points, stem, 10 points, and it gives you all the stuff that you're talking about here. But is the foliage on this super outstanding?
The leaves are kind of small for the bloom. The leaves are small.
So, would you give it a 10? A 9?
Maybe an 8.
About 90%, 95% of the time, when I do this section here, I'll end up with an 8.5 and work up or down. And by the way, I didn't say something the way you should start. Anytime you go in to judge at a show, at a trial garden, any place where you're going to make a decision on a bloom, how should you react? What is the first thing you should do? At this show here, how many, everyone judged here, right? How many people here, when you entered the first door there, going into the room with all those blooms, how many of you looked around and looked at all the blooms that were in there to see how they were growing? If they had a lot of damage for bleaching, if they had a lot of wind damage, if they had a lot of rain damage, how many did that? Okay? Second thing, as I'm walking up and I'm assigned to do the triple ball, mini ball, palm, the first thing I did was, as I'm walking up, I'm looking at my blooms, and as I get closer, first thing I ask myself is what?
Why are you here?
Canadians, my friends. What is it? Do you have an idea? Okay. The first thing I ask myself is yes or no.
Are they
Yes
in the right order?
or no?
That's my first thing.
I walk up here, and what I'm asking is, do I think that would make it in a show? Yes or no? Make sense?
The very first thing.
Okay.
first
And as I get closer, how close do I get?
Repeat.
Look at this. Look at this. This lady has her end, and you are perfectly right. Okay? So as I get up here, I don't hold my hand out because being old, I may fall in. But I get up here about 3 feet away. Now I concentrate on this bloom. And I ask myself again, now that I can see it better, yes or no? And what I'm asking is, will it survive the show? Is there a possibility that it could win? Yes or no? Now I'm going to prove it by going into this section here for the substance, for the stem length, for the foliage, the bloom position, uniformity, bench, trial garden. Those are going to help me decide if that's a good show flower. I've already classified it, haven't I? With the first section there. It's a BB or a B, ID, dark red. Okay? Now all we have to do is it going to make the grade, the foliage. We're going to grade the foliage. We're going to look at the stems. Right there. The bloom position, 45. Okay, I did the balls today, and you know, there were some damn people that entered the balls that actually had top-facing balls. What do you think about that?
Perfectly
Perfectly
okay.
acceptable.
What?
Perfectly acceptable.
Okay.
There was a water lily that was top-facing.
Perfectly acceptable. Oh my God.
Don't forget that, please. Okay. So now that we've gone through and we filled out all of these little things here, and given a point, I start off at 8.5. That's a yes. But then I may find, whoa, Daryl removed a leaf. And I can see where it's removed. Does he get points for that?
He doesn't get good points, he gets points.
He removed a leaf that I can see.
Deduction.
It happened to be a spur leaf, but he removed it.
Deduction.
Does he get points?
Off.
Negative points.
Negative, yeah.
Matter of fact, that's bad, Daryl. Okay. We get down here to one of the final sections here, and it says uniformity or uniformity. And it says, I'd love to ask new judges. Okay, and I'm in the trial garden, and I'm going, what do you think about uniformity? And they'll give me an answer. Oh, you know, it's in the trial garden, it says, yeah, they're all the same. What was that?
No, it said it's not, they're not all the same, you can't use it. It is, if you're in the trial garden, it says floriferous.
Oh, I sort of ignored that one. You do not use uniformity in a trial garden, but you do use it at a seedling bench. So we're going to look at this here, and are all three of those blooms, are they pretty darn close to being the same? Is it a clone of each other? Is this your bloom?
No.
Okay, you sure?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, we look at that and we say, okay, but when we're going through this lower section, substance, stem length, you do the foliage, bloom position, and either floriferousness or uniformity, you're doing that for the particular location that you're at. Okay? Now, add the lower score to the upper score, and that will give you the score. Yes, ma'am.
You don't do both.
Oh, that's right. It doesn't. You can't do both.
You can't.
So anyway, the score that you give will be, start with the average of 8.5. Is it super great? Is it bad? That's how you give the point for the lower section. Add it up, add that score up to the upper color and form score, and there you have it. It has to be an 85 or above to score, or to pass, right? To be recognized by the ADS. So now we've got this thing right here. This is for fully double dahlias. Is this a fully double?
Yes.
Is that a fully double?
No.
So we can't use that sheet. If you'll notice, I happen to have a yellow sheet. I highly, highly recommend for everyone that has seedling, a seedling bench, or trial garden with open center, to have your sheet colored. So it will stay different. White, open or fully double. Yellow, open center. And basically what we're doing, once again, is we are classifying that bloom. What do you think of that? Think it's pretty good? Let me ask you this. How do you think it's staged? So let's just tear it down and say it's no good because, number one, they're touching each other, right? Okay. Number two, one is facing over here where the others are facing straight ahead. Let's just get rid of it, okay? Would you do that?
No.
When using this as an example, one of the things I wouldn't even think about is, didn't we bring this from the showroom, carried it in here, and they were fighting the traffic with the people out there? And I'm sure it got jiggled around a little bit, and before they put it on the head table, I'm sure they're going to correct it. But still, you go through and do this. And you're basically doing exactly the same thing. The date, the time, location, number of plants, or if it's a seedling bench, you only have one entry with 3 blooms, okay? Cultivar ID, that's for the trial garden. In the bench, if you have a bunch of, you put them 1, 2, 3, 4, and put their number there. Then you go through and you're going to classify what that bloom is. Whether it's going to be don't do that, a single, an orchid, or whatever. We are going to classify that. Then we're going to do the color. And Terry went over that, and I would never do it on my own. Because when I classify an open center, I do it by saying, Terry! I can classify it, but she has to write it out because that's working together.
Yes.
Okay. And you go through and you do exactly the same thing. You do the diameter, you do the color, you color chip it, and then you go over here and you give it a score. And it has some of the good and bad stuff, and you just go over that, and it's very simple. All you have to do is follow the directions. And I had a conversation a little bit earlier with a young lady here, and she asked me, what is my favorite color? That's a good question, isn't it? Okay? What's yours? What's your color? Your
Green.
favorite? Your favorite?
My favorite color is green, forest green.
Forest green?
I know.
Okay.
I
We
love-
have a lot of dahlias that are forest green, right?
No, but we have some
Okay.
beautiful leaves though.
Bob, what's your favorite color? Your favorite color? Oh, I got one. You were set up, I'm sorry. Red. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with this young lady admitting she likes red?
Prejudice.
What?
Prejudice.
Did you hear that?
Bias.
Bias, prejudice, and that's one thing as a judge you cannot be, is prejudice. You can be prejudiced towards your wife, your kids, because you love them so much. But don't be prejudiced when you're talking about your favorite color, your favorite form, or your favorite size. That's being prejudiced, and you don't want that. Okay? So, damn, a lot of time. Where am I going to
Bob, I have a
say?
question for you.
You have a question?
Well, just when you started on, for both of these, I'm kind of curious about ideal form. you know, for IDs and for amendments. You know, because like part of me on that just looks like a bad semi-cactus to me. You know, and how much is that different from an ID that actually meets the definition of informal black beauty?
Okay, very good question. All judges, I don't care if, Bob, how long have you been a judge?
20 years.
20 years. Jim, how long have you been a judge?
15.
Okay. Charles,
About 20.
Mark,
30.
okay.
Not yet, Judge, I'm aspiring.
That works.
This is the big one. Okay.
He should
What was
be
I
a
gonna
judge.
say?
Huh?
No, he was talking about the informal decorative and the
Okay.
Informal between that informal decorative and something that really, do you need a classification book?
The first thing as a judge that you should do, and as I go to shows, and we go to a lot of shows, she likes shows, so I get to go. The first thing that you should do as a judge when you're assigned to do the BBs, triples, you should take out your handy dandy book, that or the classification handbook, and you read that definition. This is the 14th show that you were at that year. And on the 14th show, you're saying, I don't need to read that. But you do.
How many times did you judge informal decoratives? None.
The reason is he the only one on the team?
No.
No.
Okay, here's this young lady here. Are you a judge yet?
Candidate.
Notice I said yet.
Candidate. So yeah, she's a judge.
Judge.
Okay? You may be a brand new judge and he's very experienced, but you may not have read the definition for about a year and a half. And it could be that you haven't read it. Could be that Jim didn't read it because he was on one of his many cruises.
It could be they changed it
So,
from last year.
the first thing that you should do as a judge, whether you're a team leader or whether you're just that participating in the judging, if your team leader doesn't say, hey, let me read the definition, you tell them, shouldn't we read the definition? Make sense?
Yep.
Because you may not have read the definition, your judging goes for a long time. So let's get it where we know what the definition is. Okay? And another thing is, on a team, who does the judging on a team? I've been told some clubs don't allow clerks to participate. I have been told, whereas you're a candidate, just stand back and listen to me because I know everything. And that's the point. Back when Terry and I got started, and I'm sure Mark, Rich, Jim, when we got started in Dahlias, one of the, and maybe Bob too, was the senior judges knew everything. And you couldn't tell them anything. That's not how we do it today. You're a clerk, you're important, you should be part of the team. You need to take care of your paperwork, but the rest of the team should be helping you. And I think that's the way it should be, and I've always pushed that, because where is our next judges going to come from?
From
The young lady there, or this young lady here, or this old man here. I'm not embarrassed to embarrass anyone, so I'm sorry. So, what I'm saying is, you know, just think about logically what we should be doing. Whether we're doing this here. And by the way, when we do these here, which are the seedling bench, I put down this is going to be a 90.1. Is that the final score?
No.
No. Average that with all the judges.
Rich gave it an 82. Does it pass?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you what would happen if that was in the team I was on. First thing I would do is I'd say, okay, we need to talk. Okay, Rich, why do you say and have him justify his score? I need to do the same thing. Okay? And it's surprising how sometimes our beliefs are a little bit skewed. Okay? And it could be that, and I've had this happen, whereas the clerk says, well, you guys never mentioned this. And it completely changed the outlook on that bloom. Okay? So always include everyone. That's what I say. You know, some clubs may not belong. I believe it should be. What else can I cover?
You have a lot of entries. Is there some hints to help a judging team get through them in a reasonable amount of time?
Oh, boy. Okay, I'm going to be honest. You're at a team that has B's and BB's like Terry did. There are always 14,000 B's and BB's in a show. Okay? And the judging chair for that club decided that, hey, Terry's a damn good judge and she can do 400 entries in an hour. Okay. You can speed things up. The first thing you do is, what did I tell you?
Yes or no?
First thing you do.
Yes or no?
First thing you do. This lady's been listening. Honey, did you see that she was listening? Okay, first thing you do is you guys need to talk, okay? And it's not one person making the decision, it's everyone making this decision. So as you go in there, do it as a team. Read the definition first of all. Then you go through here and you say, yay or nay, does this fit the description? Very good. Yes, okay, let's go. This one over here, the same thing. And what you can do real quickly is saying, okay, real fast, this meets the requirements, and all this stuff here, let's just put it on down here. This one doesn't meet the requirements, let's set that back. Let's just give it a check, because it may be the only one that's there, but it obviously is not going to make it because it's an open center. It has blown its center. Why spend 14 minutes trying to classify or to give it, try and make it score when you know it's not going to? So just put that back, give it a check mark, you've looked at it, and go down the rest of it. Now once you finish that, come back here to the first and start going over what the definition says. So, which one does this follow the definition the best? How about the depth? How about the size? Then all this stuff. Yes? Okay, go to the next one and the same thing. And you can do, I've done 20 entries in less than 15 minutes by going that way. And you're not, not giving a fair shake to the shower, but you don't want to take forever to do the judging. So.
I was thinking more in the context of the seedling bench.
Oh, the seedling bench.
And so what I've seen, just to help you, and this happens in your shows more, and in Portland we had 11. at times, or 10, and you don't have enough judges to split 2 teams. So getting the busy work done as far as the measurements and whatnot across all of the entries and kind of getting yourself organized can be a helpful thing to get you through that group as a team. Most of the cases in most of the shows, it's not going to be an issue, but if you're judging at a national show and there's a lot of entries in the Northwest, you will probably see that, where you get the classification work done and then you score the rest of the stuff.
One of the things that I've seen in our conference federation is we have a team that will go through, they'll do all the measurements, one person doing all the measurements, one person doing the diameter and the depth, and then one person will go through and judge everything and put their scores down. There's really not a chance of another judge contesting this, the way they're measured. So I, myself, I like it as a team, whereas if you're doing the measurements, you have, we are together and you watch, as I put down 6 inches, you agree. I may say 7 inches and he may say 4 inches. We have to agree on something. I think you should be quick, like Mark said, but if that's your entry, who do you want judging your entry? Somebody that's in a rush to get to lunch? Or do you want somebody that's going to give you a fair shake at a judging? I would rather wait an extra 10 minutes to get the results than to have somebody rush through. Trial garden. It's the same thing. Somebody has spent 2, 3, 4 years to put something in a trial garden, and then when it comes time for scoring, 3 people will decide, all in the same group, will decide whether it's a yay or a nay. And no one else is judging it, so you don't know if it's a true or if it's a bias. You know? How are we going to correct this? There's one way we can correct it, and that we need to build up the judges. We need to build it up. Because right now, if you look at the number of judges that we have that are senior judges, we, as the American Dahlia Society, we're hurting. We need senior judges. We, as the American Dahlia Society, are hurting for accredited. Candidate judges, we're also hurting because the candidate will go in to get that free book. And next year, well, I've got the book, I don't need to join again. We have to come up with something that's going to build our membership in the judging field. We have too many people that are judges that does not take it seriously. They must go through and take what a large group of people decided how this is going to be because it's what the ADS represents. We got to get these people to follow that same thing. But we need judges. And that's why when I go to a show and I have 1 accredited, 1 candidate, and 2 clerks, guess how many people are judging?
5.
Every damn one of them. Because chances are that clerk is going to say, hey, that was fun. And I've had this happen to me. Hey, that was fun. Hey, how do I get into the judging? Let me show you.
Yep.
And this is what we all should be doing. So, because we need judges. And how many did you judge, Terry?
At the Trouble Garden, I haven't judged very many.
A whole bunch, right? We all did. Why? Because we're hurting for judges. Hopefully everyone in here will be a judge and follow through and become a senior judge. All of us are getting a little old. And I'm getting ready to turn 85 next month. Mark, I don't know how old you are.
27.
70, 75?
27.
Rich, you're about, you have to be close to 80. You know?
Let's see, Mark, how many years could we?
Bob, I was nice to you. You know, Bob's 50 years old. So, is there questions that I can answer? Any comments that I can give? You know, yes.
Bob, I was going to say, earlier you talked about spend time to judge. One of the things, and a lot of the societies and a lot of the trial gardens are really good, on the bottom of the judging form, there's a comment section. And good or bad, every judge should use it. You know, great color, you know, good substance, or whatever you want to write down there. I think it's important because, especially at the trial gardens, the person who sends in the score to ADS will often pass along some of that. And when we get it from each club, you know, like I'll just say as a hybridizer, I do appreciate from each club, especially if they're in a different climate. I like hearing what they say about it. You know, oh, a lot of fading, or you know, like I think as hybridizers we need to know.
Let me add
really
a little bit
appreciate
more
that
to
too.
that. Just a minute, hon. One of the things that we do in the Federation, we try to preach, and sometimes it doesn't work all the time, is when we judge, what we're doing is we are not punishing the originator. We are giving an honest opinion of that bloom that we are looking at. So when you look at this bloom, and this person has spent 3 years growing it, and we look at it and says, 85 is passing, right? And we say, that should be a 69. Who are you punishing? The originator or the bloom? You know, it could be you could have done just as good if instead of giving it a 63, maybe if you get it an 83.5. Isn't that failing too?
Yes.
But it's not saying, you know, you're a dippy for entering. And that's what you're doing with these outrageous scores. Don't do that.
But I'm going to say, what if it does grow crappy in our garden? You know, if it really is a 69.
Okay, and here's one.
Because I have to say, you can grow stuff out in the Northwest, and you can say, it's this form. We get it, and it's a Sinai cactus, and it isn't even a cactus in your.
So if you were to give that one, your example is, if you were to give it an 83.5, is that a better score than, I mean, are you doing more good by giving it that? Or, and I'm talking about the goodwill to the...
Well, yes, but if it's something that we could never grow, because we could never score it, it would never go into our show, why would we give it something that's even close? You know, if it's going to be, I have to say, we have to fail some of these if they don't perform what they
Is a
are in our climate.
63.5 failing or passing?
Failing.
So what difference does it make if you're doing a 63.5 or a 51?
Or an 83.
If they were that bad, I would give you another solution, and that is you guys do
Yeah.
it on the sheets of DNS.
Okay.
Option. If they
There it is.
says, just use the DNS
And
sometimes.
now they've asked for comments on the DNS. So is that what we say, is it did not, you know, it
Why?
decided to be an informal deck, not a cactus?
Why? But your answer is, why didn't it pass? You write that up.
Yeah.
Terry?
But if it grows as an informal deck, maybe it's a good informal deck, and you classify it that way. And then it's up to the seedling bench evaluation and the trial garden chair to go through all of those and see what the classification is.
And
And just in relationship to Rich, as a trial garden director, I write comments and it takes time on every single entry. And I try to find something good about the flower before I get into the bed. Sometimes I'm not so good at that. But if the judges write the comments, it really helps. Otherwise, I'm just using what I see. And I want to use what all the judges see.
And different times during the season, it's
And
gonna
just-
show up differently. Different
Absolutely.
temperatures, different windstorms, different whatever. So different judges are gonna be judging the trial garden at different times.
This year, I have 60 entries. I can't write comments on 60 entries.
If we're not
every week.
careful with the trial garden, with the seedling bench, and I'll get to you in a minute, if we're not careful, we're gonna be like in our judging situation. And we're not gonna, it's so easy to grow something, but if it's so hard to get a passing score at the bench or at the trial garden, who's going to take the time? A lot of people will bypass the trial gardens now because it's easier to get a score on the seedling bench.
Or in the regular
Or just
show.
put it in a regular horticultural section. Lori, you had a question?
No, I was just a statement. When I'm scoring the ceilings, that sheet, you have 30 points, 10 points, 10 points. I put little deducts in each of those squares as I'm doing it and mark it, -1. That way, if the person comes up or they get a chance to see that form that we're filling out, they can see where it was weak and why it didn't go. And my other question was, what are you doing with your first year seedlings that come up? You measured them, you color chipped them, you've given them their form, their stem length, and you actually found a flower that's exactly the same thing that already exists. What are we doing? I mean, it's supposed to be new introductions.
You're talking
not
about the
something
1
that's-
to 10.
Something that's already been introduced.
It's not 1
and-
to 10.
It's, yeah, you might make a comment on it. Oh, there's 42 of them, just exactly like this. So,
But isn't seedling bench for new introductions not something that you managed to reproduce again? I just have a question.
now, in closing, there's one thing that every one of you has to do as a potential judge, as a clerk, as a candidate, as an accredited, or as a senior. Go to shows, go to meetings, just wherever you can find people and have fun. Because if you're not having fun here, what the heck are you doing here? You could go work at the dump. Have fun. And have fun. Well, that's, but have fun and remember, the people that you're talking with, you're making them an impression. If you're a senior judge and you're bad-mouthing somebody, she's going to hear that maybe. And the impression is not good. Maybe we'll lose her as a judge. So always, 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 number one, have fun, and your fellow dahlia grower. Even though I pick on a lot of people in the years that I've been in the Dahlia Association, I like to harass people, right, Daryl?
Yeah. Scott.
But I'll tell you what, I think we have fun, and that's what you have to do. And try and encourage people, So, no more questions?
I think one
Yeah.
more comment that's good for groups that don't have as many opportunities. The trial garden is far away, the senior judges live farther away. There are ways that will be acceptable to help you advance in judging, get that experience by creating triple bloom entries or triple plant entries in the yard to get that experience. You just need senior judges to be participating with you.
For the bench.
for a bench type setting or a trial garden type setting, you can create alternative ways. It's great if you can do it in the trial garden or at a show. But if that's too hard and it's gonna take too long for you to get enough experience and practice, there are acceptable ways that I'm not sure all the regions of the country are really familiar with to create judging opportunities to get you experience.
It's like I said when we first started, that's how I met this young lady here, is they asked us at the national show, after the show was over, to get with them and judge as if we were judging on the ceiling bench. Is that correct? And it works.
Could we zoom?
And she filled out this scorecard, and we sent it to their club to get credit.
I've done some Zoom training, it's harder.
Yeah,
It really is hard.
Show, because I need that help.
Pardon me?
Can we do that for this show?
Can I?
Can we practice?
I actually,
Yeah, lots
the way
of
I got
troubles out
into
there.
this, the way I got into this presentation, I went to Jim and I said, Jim, you know, at the Wenatchee show, what we did, and I explained what we did with the young lady, and he says, oh, okay, yeah. Next thing I know, here I am. You know, I wasn't really ready,
He was
so.
concerned about a location to do it in, at this show.
And your local shows, you can do it as well.
Or you
Some
can go
folks-
to your neighbor's house that has a dahlia garden, cut 3 blooms of the same thing, put them in a pot like you're staging, and then go through and practice.
Or if there's 3 plants of the same bloom, they can do it like a fireplace.
Yeah, so,
A national show is probably one of the more challenging ones because there's lots of these fun extracurricular things going on, like the seminar. So time becomes your enemy. And we got a banquet tonight and so on and so forth. So
And
it's
last-
harder here.
Yeah, last year we didn't have a Sunday afternoon tour, so we did it on Sunday afternoon.
Which is a good idea,
Which is-
especially if we had triples.
yeah.
it'd be
You want me to
a
take
big
that into
class.
the next one?
Yeah, we just got corner of the
please,
table.
don't drop them on the plate. They're going to the head table. I want to thank everyone for putting up with my silliness. I appreciate it.
Thank you for